Hello dear students, today I am going to discuss about the cardiovascular system. So cardiovascular system is the body lifeline. It delivers oxygen and nutrients to every cell and remove the waste product, keeping us alive every second. So what is the cardiovascular system? The cardiovascular systems is the cardiovascular systems organ systems that distribute the blood to all part of the body. It is the specific type of system that distributing the blood to the all part of the body, or we can say it deliver the oxygen and nutrients to each and every part of the body. The major function is transportation, using the blood as the transport vehicles. So blood is helpful to transport the nutrients or oxygen and remove the waste from the body tissue. And let's start the topic about that. The cardiovascular system carrying the oxygen, nutrients, cell waste, hormones and other substance vital for the body, homeostasis too, and form the cells. The force to move the blood around the body is provided by the pumping heart and the blood pressure. Heart. What is the heart? So human heart is approximately size of a fist and weight less than 1 pound. It enclosed within the inferior mediastinum, the medial cavity of the thorax and flanked on each side by the lungs. तो यहाँ जो हार्ट है वो present कहाँ है? It enclosed with the inferior mediastinum and medial cavity of the thorax, means it present in the medial of the thorax cavity and flanked on each side by the lungs. ठीक है. Next one is the heart's pointed apex. तो point portion जो pointed portion है that is the apex, directed toward the left side and rest at about the fifth intercostal space. So on the fifth intercostal space, its touching point is the apex and it's present in the left side. The broad aspect or base pointed toward the right shoulder and lie beneath the second ribs. So its broad aspect, or we can say it is the base, its base present toward the right shoulder and lies beneath the second ribs. Heart. The heart is enclosed by the double walled sac called the pericardium. तो हार्ट इज कैसे इनक्लोज्ड है? डबल वॉल्ड सैक प्रेजेंट है जिसे हम पेरिकार्डियम कहते हैं, और ये सुपरफिशियली लूजली फिटेड पार्ट इज कॉल्ड द फाइब्रस पेरिकार्डियम. तो सुपरफिशियली एक लूज फिटेड पार्ट है, उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? फाइब्रस पेरिकार्डियम. एंड इट प्रोटेक्ट एंड एंकर द हार्ट. इट प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है टू द हार्ट, गिविंग द प्रोटेक्शन टू द हार्ट. तो दिस इज द पेरिकार्डियम पोर्शन. दिस इज आउटर 1%, this giving the protection to the heart also. The heart, deep to the fibrous pericardium, is the slippery two-layer serous pericardium. The parietal layer line the interior of the fibrous pericardium. So in this present diagram you can easily see how the layers is arranged here. So innermost layer is the endocardium. This is the innermost layer is the endocardium. Then outer one present myocardium, और उसके बाद present है which type of cell? That is the visceral pericardium present, and in between pericardial and parietal pericardium, or in between this in fluid is present, that is called pericardial cavity and pericardial fluid in this present. And outer layer is the fibrous layer, that is the outermost layer, the pericardial outer layer, this one जो है. तो outer word present layer that is the parietal pericardium, and inner word provide present this layer that is called visceral pericardium, and from that inner side present that is the myocardium, and top innermost present that is called endocardium. This is the arrangement of layer in the heart. Next, heart. The parietal layer attached to the large arteries leaving the heart and then make a U-turn and continue inferior over the heart surface as the visceral organs or the epicardium. तो हार्ट पेरिकार्डियल लेयर्स अटैच टू द लार्ज आर्टरीज. तो पेरिकार्डियम का लार्ज आर्टरीज अटैच है लिविंग द हार्ट एंड देन मेक यू टर्न एंड कंटिन्यूसली inferiorly over the heart surface as the visceral layers or the epicardium. The slippery lubricating fluid is produced by the serous pericardium. तो serous pericardium एक lubricating fluid secrete कर रहा है, और this pericardial membrane which allow the heart to beat easily in relative frictionless environment. तो यहाँ जब हार्ट बीट कर रहा है तो फ्रिक्शन ना हो विद द अदर ऑर्गन के साथ इसका, तो हैव द सम लुब्रिकेशन फ्लूइड प्रेजेंट इन दिस वन, और वो क्या कर रहा है? फ्रिक्शन प्रिवेंट करने का काम कर रहा है हार्ट. तो इन्फ्लामेशन ऑफ द पेरिकार्डियम दैट इज़ कॉल्ड पेरिकार्डाइटिस। अगर इन हार्ट की जो लेयर है तो उसके अंदर का इन्फ्लामेशन हो जाए तो उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, पेरिकार्डाइटिस। ऑफन रिजल्ट इन डिक्रीजिंग इन द सीरियस फ्लूइड हो सकता है यह। तो द कॉजेस ऑफ पेरिकार्डियल लेयर्स टू स्टिक forming the painful adhesions that interfere with the heart movement, so that causing pain, or and that friction is causing the inflammation, that is called pericarditis. Heart wall is composed of three layers, so three layers present in the heart. सबसे outermost layer we can, this is the epicardium, तो epicardium layer, second क्या myocardium, and third one is the endocardium layers present है। तो हार्ट मायोकार्डियम, तो मायोकार्डियम कंसिस्ट ऑफ द थिक बंडल ऑफ कार्डियक मसल्स ट्विस्टिंग इनटू रिंग लाइक अरेंजमेंट। तो यहाँ क्या है, रिंग लाइक अरेंजमेंट्स इन दिस सेल्स प्रेजेंट दिस लेयर ऑफ द हार्ट दैट एक्चुअली कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, और ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होने का काम कर रही है मोस्टली है, दिस लेयर्स इज कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग एंड this is layer of the heart that actually contract and reinforcing by dense fibrous connective tissue, heart skeleton we can say। तो reinforced by the dense fibrous connective tissue जो इसको strengthen दे रहा है। तो मायोकार्डियम लेयर क्या है, दैट कहाँ प्रेजेंट है, इन मिडल में प्रेजेंट है, दैट इज द मायोकार्डियम, इट इज़ द थिकेस्ट लेयर है, और दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द कॉन्ट्रैक्शन एंड रिलैक्सेशन ऑफ द हार्ट। नेक्स्ट वन इज द एंडोकार्डियम। एंडोकार्डियम इज द थिन gelatinic sheet of the endothelium that lie the heart chamber continuously with the lining of the blood vessels leaving and entering the हार्ट। तो जो हार्ट की जो इनर लेयर है दैट इज़ कॉल्ड एंडोकार्डियम, और ये बहुत ही स्लिपरी और जिलेटिंग लाइक शीट जो प्रेजेंट है एंडोकार्डियम के अंदर, दैट लाइन इन द इनर लेयर ऑफ द हार्ट चैम्बर्स एज वेल एज द इनर लाइनिंग ऑफ द ब्लड वेसल्स आल्सो। नेक्स्ट, हार्ट हैव 4 chambers, 2 atria receiving chambers and 2 ventricle, that is the filling chambers. Everyone know about the 2 atria and the 2 ventricle. So atria is the receiving chamber that receive the blood, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. 2 ventricle that filling chambers that pushing the blood. Heart blood flow into the arterial under the low pressure from the venous and continues into the ventricles. तो blood flow जो है कहाँ, atria under the low pressures from the वेन्स। तो वेन से क्या, लो प्रेशर से ब्लड कैम्स इनसाइड एंड कंट्रीब्यूट इनटू द वेंट्रिकल्स, और ये वेंट्रिकल्स के अंदर पुश कर देता है। तो वेंट्रिकल्स आर द थिक एंड वॉल्ड डिस्चार्जिंग द chambers, that is called discharging chambers, or they discharge the bloods, that is ventricle, a thick walled layer है, there are the pump of the heart, when they contract blood is propelled out of the heart and into the circulation। तो जैसे ही contract होता है तो blood is pushing into the circulation, so this is the heart in ventricles portions, that work is as they are having the chamber that in this the blood is collected and this blood is pushed out in the overall body। The right ventricles form the most of the heart's anterior surface. The right ventricle, it forming the anterior surface of the heart. The left ventricle forming the apex of the heart, and the heart septum that divide the heart longitudinally in the intraventricular septum. So जो longitudinally that dividing the heart into 2 portion, that is the intraventricular septum and or the atrial septum based on the chamber it's separated। तो यहाँ से chamber separate हो जाते हैं, right and left ventricles and superior and inferior portion, that is the ventricle and atrial between this present septums, so that is the this is the septums present in this one। The heart function as the double pump। तो double pump function is the right side work as the pulmonary circuit pump and receiving oxygenated bloods, poor blood from the vein of the बॉडी थ्रू द लार्ज सुपीरियर एंड इन्फीरियर वेना केवा। तो यहाँ जो ब्लड है राइट वेंट्रिकल्स के अंदर है वो क्या एट्रिया से होता हुआ वेंट्रिकल तक आता है। तो इसमें क्या सुपीरियर वेना केवा, इन्फीरियर वेना केवा रिलीजिंग द ब्लड इन दिस पोर्शन, सो दिस डीऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड्स ओवरऑल। दिस इज द स्ट्रक्चर्स ऑफ द हार्ट। देन ब्लड देन पंप आउट थ्रू द पल्मोनरी ट्रंक। तो पल्मोनरी ट्रंक से क्या ब्लड पुश आउट होता है विच स्प्लिट इनटू द लेफ्ट एंड राइट पल्मोनरी आर्टरी। राइट एंड लेफ्ट पल्मोनरी आर्टरीज के अंदर ये ब्लड चला जाता है, और पल्मोनरी आर्टरीज कैरी द ब्लड टू द लंग्स। तो लंग्स में ब्लड कैरी होता है वेयर ऑक्सीजन इज पिक्ड अप एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड अनलोडेड। तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को रिलीज कर दिया जाता है वहाँ पे, और ऑक्सीजन को वहाँ से रिसीव कर दिया जाता है। उसके बाद क्या है, ये ब्लड रिच्ड ब्लड ड्रेन्स फ्रॉम द लंग्स एंड इट रिटर्न टू लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द हार्ट, और लेफ्ट साइड टू द हार्ट के अंदर आ जाएगा थ्रू द 4 पल्मोनरी वेन्स जो प्रेजेंट है उसके अंदर, थ्रू द 4 पल्मोनरी वेन्स। तो दिस सर्किट इज कॉल्ड पल्मोनरी सर्कुलेशन, इसको हम पल्मोनरी सर्कुलेशन बोलते हैं। इट इज ओनली फंक्शन इज टू कैरी द ब्लड टू द लंग्स फॉर द गैस एक्सचेंज एंड देन रिटर्न इट टू द हार्ट। तो हार्ट एंड लंग्स के बीच में जो प्रेजेंट सर्कुलेशन दैट इज कॉल्ड पल्मोनरी सर्कुलेशन। दिस पल्मोनरी सर्कुलेशन क्या कर रहा है, डिओक्सिजेनेटेड ब्लड्स taking from the heart to the lungs, and they are releasing the carbon dioxide and taking the oxygen into blood, and this return into the heart. So this circulation is called pulmonary circulation. So this is the pulmonary circulation circuit. Here everyone see, you can see in this one present the left, or this going to the lungs, and then receiving the oxygenated bloods, and then can returning to the left atria and left ventricles, and then pushing into the aorta through aorta into the body. The heart blood returns to the left side of the heart, is pumped out the heart into the aorta, and this blood is pumped into aorta, or the systemic arteries branch from the aorta to supply the body tissue with bloods, and this each and every cell of the body supplied by this blood oxygenated will take from this blood and they start the function. Next क्या है, heart oxygen poor blood circulate from the tissue back to the right atrium via the systemic circulation. तो through the systemic circulation, तो जो deoxygenated bloods return back and which empty into their blood into their the superior और inferior vena के बाद, तो superior और inferior vena के अंदर ये blood क्या है ड्रेन कर दिया जाता है. Next, this second circuits from the left side of the heart throughout the body tissue and back to the right side of the heart. It is called systemic circulation. तो इसको हम systemic circulation कहते हैं. तो यहाँ लेफ्ट साइड में जितना भी है, लेफ्ट साइड से वेंट्रिकल से पोर्शन से ब्लड सर्कुलेट टू आयोटा, आयोटा से पूरा ओवरऑल बॉडी के अंदर, देन डिओक्सिजेनेटेड ब्लड रिसीव्ड एंड इट कम्स इनटू द राइट atrium portion. So up to this portion circulation is called systemic circulation. Next one is the heart. Because the left ventricle is the systemic pump that pump blood over the much longer pathway through the body, its wall are thicker than those of the right ventricles. तो यहाँ जो लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल है इस पोर्शन के अंदर क्या है, it having too much contractions, and due to this contraction its size thickness is increased in the wall. So in the heart is the supermost thickened portion of the heart is the left ventricle, and it generating the more power to pump the blood into the aorta. So it is the more powerful pump that generating into the aorta. Next one is the heart also has four walls present in the heart that separate the atria from the ventricles. That's four wall जो है that to separate the atria from the ventricles, and that separate the ventricles from their arteries. All of these wall prevent the backflow. So heart also have four wall that to separate atria from the ventricle. तो atria from the ventricle से separate है, जैसे क्या है mitral valve present है and that's the tricuspid valve present है. Then to separate the ventricles from their arteries, तो जिसमें तो present कौन कौन सा है, aortic valve and next one is the pulmonary valves present है. तो all of these valves prevent the backflow of the blood. The heart valve कौन कौन सा है, atrioventricular valve or the between the atria and ventricle. Atria or ventricle present this valve is the atrioventricular valve. On the left side is the bicuspid or mitral valve. On the right side it is the tricuspid valve. They are all anchored by the choroidal tendon. तो choroidal tendon के through क्या, it is anchored or means handled by this tendon, and that giving the relaxation, the opening and closing points to the this wall. When the heart is relaxed and blood is passively filling in the chamber, the atrioventricular valve flaps hang limp simply into the ventricles. As the ventricle contract, they press on the blood in their chambers and the interventricular pressure arise. So interventricular pressure arise होना start हो जाता है. Next one is the heart semilunar valve, guard the base of the large arteries leaving the ventricular chamber. On the side is the pulmonary valve. On the left is the thoracic valve. Aortic valve. The heart. When the ventricles are contract, these valves are forced open and flattened against the atrial wall. When the ventricles are relaxed, the blood flow back toward the heart. So blood flow coming back toward the heart. तो दिस प्रिवेंट द एट्रियल ब्लड फ्रॉम द री एंटरिंग द हार्ट। तो यहाँ जो प्रेजेंट जो है इसमें जो क्या है, इसको प्रिवेंट करते हैं ब्लड फ्लो बैकवर्ड ब्लड फ्लो फ्रॉम द री एंटरिंग द हार्ट जो है। The coronary artery circulation. Next one is the coronary arteries branched from the base of the aorta and encircle the heart in the coronary sulcus. So at the junction of the atria and ventricle, at the portion of the atria and ventricles present coronary sulcus and they drain the blood into the coronary aorta portion जो है। The coronary arteries and their major branches are compressed when the articles are contracting and filled when the heart is relaxed. The heart when relax हो रहा है then it fill और compress when क्या है that heart is pumping. The myocardium is drained by several cardiac veins which empty into the coronary sinus. So the coronary sinus is turned empty into the right atrium. So that is emptying into the right atrium. When the heart beat rapidly, the myocardium can receive an inadequate amount of the blood. This can result in crushing chest pain called angina pectoris. और जब क्या है heart beat rapidly fast myocardium receive inadequate oxygen amount of the blood, so it can cause a chest pain. So the crushing chest pain is called angina pectoris. This is called angina pectoris. Next one is the heart. Pain due to the angina pectoris is the warning sign. If angina is prolonged, oxygen deprived cell may die from an infarct. So that is called myocardial infarction, or we can say heart attack. So this is portion overall related to the heart. The heart is where is present the heart and location of the heart and size of the heart, weight of the heart, and we have discussed related to heart valve, pericardium, myocardium, endocardium, and valve of the heart, septum of the heart, and circulation like the pulmonary circulation, and second is the systemic circulation. These overall points we have discussed in this PPT and easily understand about how what is the anatomy of the heart. So in the next video we will discuss about the physiology of the heart. Take care. Bye bye.